The following is a presentation of the Force Center podcast feed.
As Obi-Wan Kenobi once said, hello there, and welcome to Force Center Presents Databank Dive. I'm Joseph Scrimshaw.
I'm Ken Napzok. This is the show that was going to be a little bit of a shorter series, a little behind the scenes. We were like, let's do 6 episodes and come back. We're having so much fun. Joseph, we're going to roll on.
We're on episode 007, which I really like that you have numbered it. I number them just 7, but then I saw in your official, you're smart. You're like, we're going to do hundreds of these, so we better leave the numbers.
It's right. This is a 007 one. Ooh. Who's the Q? Who's the M?
That is right. We have basically a super spy, a dashing character about the galaxy, a very James Bond character to cover here. If for some reason you are checking in for the first time on Databank Dive, here's the deal. We pick a character, a weapon, a vehicle, something from the galaxy far, far away that's a little bit more on the weirder, the wilder, the fun side of Star Wars. And then we share some of the basic info and have some fun talking, joking about this entry of the databank. And today's entry is that smooth, suave, super droid spy known as Gonky.
Gonky.
Gonky is not a spy to my knowledge, but I was having fun with the James Bond thing.
Yeah.
Here is what is the real deal with Gonky. Here's what the StarWars.com databank has to say about Gonky. Aboard the Marauder shuttle, Clone Force 99 carries a GNK droid affectionately known as Gonky. Although the droid's primary function is to serve as a power generator, Wrecker has been known to repurpose Gonky as part of his exercise routine. And I realized I should have said from the get-go, we are pulling from the great animated series Bad Batch. In case anybody hasn't watched this, maybe this will become an ad to check out Bad Batch because it's got some great characters like Gonky.
Like Gonky.
Ken, you're a big fan of Wrecker. How important to your enjoyment of the show Bad Batch has been Wrecker picking up this Gonk droid, Gonky, and basically using him as a resistance weight?
I love it. I think because I use a lot of resistance bands, so maybe you're right. Maybe I'm connecting with this. No, I love it, and it's something that I don't want to say just works in animation. I just don't think this in live action would hit for everyone. You know, if Wrecker was just lifting a Gonk droid, I don't know. It does work. I don't want to be over dramatic here, but gosh, Gonky's presence and Gonky as a friend and weight for Wrecker is pretty key to Bad Batch for me.
Yeah, no, it's a great image because it's perfectly of Wrecker's character. It fits into Gonky, as we'll talk about, but it's also just kind of a background gag. You know, it isn't like the point of a scene ever. And I never thought about how it would play in live action. And now I'm picturing like a young Arnold Schwarzenegger doing just like totally bonkers comedy faces.
Yeah.
As he pumps Gonky.
And it's so funny because, like, you know, Andor is shaping up to be a more serious version of Star Wars. Maybe. We don't know all of it. There could be some great jokes. Rogue One, same thing, but K2SO. So I imagine, you know, there's a good chance Wrecker could show up, and then we'd have to deal with Tony Gilroy directing Wrecker to lift a Gonk droid. And he'd be like, no, what is this? What is this?
That is so fun to think about our ongoing discussions of what the sort of comedy tone of Andor might be. But that's what's great about Bad Batch. This is just turning into a commercial for people who haven't watched Bad Batch, that it will go from the gut-wrenching trauma of war and lost loyalty and having your agency taken away. And then Wrecker going, whoa!
Yeah. It's all things.
All things, from tragedy to woe, all things. We're going to get back to Gonky. Speaking of tragedy, maybe. Here's the additional info from Wookieepedia that really fleshes out Gonky. Gonky was a defective GNK series power droid who served Clone Force 99 aboard the Marauder. Wrecker frequently used the droid as a weightlifting aid. As a defective unit, Gonky's power unit could not fully charge. The enhanced clone Omega used the droid as a cot for a brief time.
Right, that's right.
Additionally, She spoke to Gonky on occasion, showing him her trooper doll. When the Marauder was boarded by enemy Zygerians, Omega told the droid to hide, though he simply powered down. Omega tried to fix Gonky's power unit to allow him to charge fully, but Hunter told her it was no use since he was a defective unit. The young clone comforted Gonky by saying they were all defective. During the Bad Batch's mission to Daro, Gonky provided extra power to the ship when it was attacked by Imperial V-Wing starfighters. But when a second group of V-Wings opened fire, Gonky short-circuited. I love that sometimes when you go to Wookieepedia, it is, just an additional description of everything that happened to the character, and you look at the Wookieepedia page for, Sheev Palpatine.
Yeah.
Epic, epic, epic. And then this is really almost everything that's ever happened to Gonky, but it just reads as like Gonky is an old silent film star, and here's every comedy bit he did. He got used as a weightlifting aid. He got used as a cot. He was shown a doll. He powered down instead of hiding. These are the best bits of Gonky.
Starred in a road picture. He's great. Great.
Exactly. Remember when that house fell all around him, but he fell through the window hole, so he was okay?
Exactly. That's a great way to look at it.
Yeah. Did you get anything new out of this Wookieepedia entry? Did it help you to see Gonky in a different light?
It reminded me, it's only been a year removed, a Bad Batch, a series we love, but it just reminded me the importance of one of the themes, this idea of defective, and don't worry, we all are, which just means you're finding your true place, you're finding your true self. And for it to extend down to this Gonk droid, I thought was really powerful at the time and just really endearing. Droids, it's funny because Chewie is famously designed on, around Indiana the dog that George had, as everyone should know or eventually finds out in Star Wars lore. But I still think some droids really hit that dog vein.
Yeah.
And I think Gonky's one of those. Not to BB-8, R2 probably upset at me for saying that, but Gonky's in that mode of just a good, loyal companion that some people can overlook and some people cannot give, treat them the way they deserve and let them into your life to help. And I think Omega sees it, and Gonky is that for all of them.
I really like that you're drawing that out from this, because I so agree that Gonky fits into that droid mold of maybe more valuable than he's actually being treated by his compatriots. But also there is just like this kind of fun-loving vibe. Like if you could stick your head out of a spaceship window, I think Gonky would stick his head out of the Marauder.
Just little droid ears flapping in the wind.
Just enjoying that hyperspace breeze that would probably rip him apart in reality. All right, let's get into our discussion of Gonky. Not like we weren't fully discussing Gonky, but we're going to go all in now. We start with the physical. If anybody's sitting in their car trying to dream of Gonky, how would you physically describe Gonky, Ken?
All right. He is more of a rectangle than a square. Boxy, think of a trash compactor or a supersized paper shredder with little cute, kind of pudgy, robotic, almost Battlestar Galactica legs. I don't want to upset George by mentioning Battlestar Galactica. We know there was some tension back in the day between the two properties. And he's a classic Gonk droid. And we all know those Gonk droids. We all know the ohm. We all made that sound on the playground, no matter when you first discovered them in New Hope or where they show up elsewhere. Of course, should mention the one horrendously and heinously tortured in Jabba's palace. Hard for me to watch as a kid, even though I was like, I don't think his feet actually touched the device. As a kid, I got hung up on that a little bit. But yeah, that's a Gonk droid. It's a Gonk droid. It is a battery with legs.
Yeah, that's totally the deal, right? Great description of just the general shape. Like the shape is kind of like two big totes you'd buy at Target to put clothes in when you're moving, and then smashed together, right?
Yes. Is that how Jen Landa would craft a Gonk droid? You'll have to ask her.
I think I'm obsessed because I just moved all of my belongings from Minneapolis to Los Angeles. And there was a lot of tote shopping, a lot of jug bin tote shopping at Target. And it's like looking at this, like I could put together a Gonk.
What I love, and this is what sometimes Databank Dive does, is helps us learn more about each other even after all these years. I'm glad that you and I call them totes. I get in arguments. I got in arguments with my old pal Josh McCouga over at GPA. Because like, we need to get more totes. He's like, what are totes? Like, these are totes. Those are plastic boxes. Those are boxes. They're totes, man. So I'm glad that you and I call them totes, and Gonky is made of totes.
I can't pick a noun. Totes, bins, jugs, plastic boxes. That's the nice. What are these strange plastic boxes? Boxes are made of cardboard, right?
Yeah.
I like that he Gonky is like it's kind of light beige, right? He's a little differentiated maybe from the color scheme of others, other Gonk droids, still in the family. You had the very accurate description of Battlestar Galactica legs. I went with accordion legs, right?
Yeah.
I feel like you could do a comedy video where you're watching Gonky walk and you could have that of like an accordion going off.
Has no one done that on the internet yet? Has that not happened?
I'm sure that has happened. I'm going to Google it when we're done. Yeah. But there is something about it, right? Because it's definitely the Gonk droid design to me is one of those things from, we all know the stories of how A New Hope came about. We just had the great series Light and Magic, but it was just like duct tape and a prayer to the gods, old and new, to pull that film together, right?
Right.
But some things from A New Hope are just like, well, that's it. That's the lighting design. That's the wall lighting design of the Death Star and all Imperial facilities for now and forever. Period, right?
Yeah.
And Gonky's legs are one of those things of like, if Gonk droids had just been invented for, say, Rogue One, would Gonky have ended up with Battlestar Galactica accordion legs? Like aesthetically, how do you feel about that?
This is a great discussion point. This is wonderful. It's the genius. So glad you mentioned the light magic thing. Yeah, you get the sense of someone was like, go in the back alley and see if there's any parts for the legs, right? It's that kind of the thing there. And there's someone at the golf course across the street, the Van Nuys 9 there. We'll get some parts there. And no, I don't think. I think it would look different. I think it's fascinating, especially Rogue One is a great example, and Andor we're going to see where you are trying to build back to something created on the fly in the 70s. Like, that's I've never really thought of it that way. So no, unfortunately, I think Gonks would look different.
Yeah. Down to, would they have legs? I wanted to be sure to ask you about this because we get this, thing where sometimes fans are like, this is a galaxy where we have hover technology. Why does anything have wheels? Why does anything have treads? But it's a good point. This is a galaxy where we have wheels, we have treads, we have hover technology. Yeah. And the Gonk droids are, battery packs. They're, they hold a charge. They can help you charge your devices, power generator, that walks on two legs.
Yeah.
For you, what is your headcanon of when these ubiquitous droids were designed? Why do they have actual sentient being legs instead of any other technology for moving about?
I think in universe, whichever company designed them, I'll have to look that up here on Wookieepedia, but I think it was a communication error, it was a clerical error that we need we have to have some power, some remote power. Maybe like a droid can handle that task. Someone was like on it and comes up with this because maybe they saw an astromech and it was just kind of like someone was like, no, it didn't have to talk. You could have just, it's portable, right? And so I think it was a clerical error, which leads me to think if they're to do an updated Gonk droid, say in Star Wars Episode 10, right? Okay, it would hover. It would just hover. Yeah, you just call it over. Almost be like the dare I say the torture droid. It would just hover over. Bring the syringe over. Because the torture droid would definitely not be as intimidating if it was like walking over.
Making the accordion Battlestar Galactica noise.
Yeah. And a little bit I think I'm also doing droid from Buck Rogers with
yes,
Gil Gerard or Gil Gerard, whatever.
yeah, beady 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 beady.
So that's what I think of too when I Gonk. So yeah. Anyways,
That's a great song to put together. The beady 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 gonk, beady 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 gonk. The sounds of the 70s, right there, kids.
Yes. Oh, you're so right. You're so right.
Industrial Automaton is the manufacturer, according to Wookieepedia. I always think that, there's sometimes we talk about like, well, if they have this technology, why don't they use this better technology? And I just like always looking at the galaxy of like, well, there are financial realities. There's a ton in our real universe that are like, well, if you have this good food, why doesn't everybody eat it? Well, money,
Yeah.
Money. Why does anybody have to eat fake chocolate? Why don't you all have real chocolate in your candy bars? Like, and I kind of feel like this is like legs are cheap.
Yeah.
I feel like legs are cheaper technology. And since the company is Industrial Automaton, they try to sell it as, well, this is what we make. We make automatons. We make droids with a little bit of personality,
Yeah.
That can be your buddy. I know everybody doesn't treat them like a buddy, but that's the deal. You need power. Well, Gonky will just stroll on over.
Yeah, and designed to be, it's just for your hangar. It's for your personal hangar warehouse. He's not meant to go fight a war for you. He's not even shouldn't be flying your ship. He's just in a hangar. These Gonkies, these droids. So yeah, that kind of works for me too. That's where it kind of began. Yeah, it's not like a hitchhiker's thing with the doors that talk when they open, right?
Right. I did not expect to spend this much time on legs, but I do have one more question for you. Would you like to see an advanced Gonk droid that has longer legs and knees so the Gonk droid can come running when power is needed instead of slowly shambling over? Every Gonk droid looks like it is waking up from the world's most exciting, roughest night with a terrible hangover.
Yeah, no, it's nightmare fuel. It's like that. Is the Simpsons episode where some of the inanimate objects come to life and grow legs like a toaster running after you? You know what? I love Mandalorian Chapter 8. I think once it kind of starts getting a little more serious and wears its heart on the sleeve, Taika really nailed that episode. Except for when that astromech droid like springs arms and legs to take them down the river,
the fairy droid, yeah,
fairy droid. No, great design, and I love it. It's very imaginative. Freaked me out. I don't want my Gonk droid to walk into the room. Oh, you got a Gonk droid? Great. And suddenly it's, a 7'2" Gonk droid.
I want big bird Gonk with big legs just trucking at me, just running.
Just all hips and knees and joints.
No arms or head.
It'd be Big Bird's a great example, but same scene. Sweetums in the first Muppet movie chasing after them, go Hollywood, which also terrified me.
Gonky wood.
That's exactly what it is.
All right. We went a little astray in physically describing Gonky, but let's get back to the magic of Gonky in specific. What does Gonky add to the legend of Star Wars?
Look at what we're talking about here. We're talking about a battery, and it's inspired this much thought and laughter and wonder. I think that is part of the genius of going back to New Hope and all the crew there at ILM building it all up, not knowing what they're doing, and George laying down, some goals and, hey, let's try to do this. This idea that it's a droid, it's a battery, and again in New Hope, it just kind of it's there, it's there in the crawler. It's not really. I didn't come out of New Hope as a kid going, oh, it's a power droid. Like I didn't know that. I didn't know, maybe till the figure came out, and it's just so simple, but you can't stop talking about it, and you can't stop hearing the sound design behind that. Like, what is this droid going to sound like? It's going to sound like Gonk, Gonk. There you go. A legend is born. It brings so much to the story in universe. And then it's an example of all the creativity that went into this wonderful thing and why we're still talking about it 40 plus years later.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. That is a great summation of Gonk droids. And I think that's what makes Gonky so powerful is like they didn't try to make like some like this is a Gonk droid, but actually he's into music or whatever. He's just like the epitome of Gonk droids. It's like taking all of the jokes and the fun and the weirdness of Gonk droids that you just described and making that a character, right? Right. Down to the fact that his name is Gonky, right? His name is just Nowney.
And what didn't they take me back to Bad Batch? Didn't we all kind of name him that before we knew he was that? Didn't that like not just you and I, but like the fandom was kind of like he's Gonky. And I thought that we were right. I can't remember the details on that, but I seem to recall.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that's like it almost doesn't matter if it's true because that's the spirit it captures. Like if we all had a Gonk droid, we'd call him Gonky. So you're like, of course,
of course he's Gonky. Of course he's Gonky.
Yeah. And then I think we'll talk about it a little bit more here. But the idea of he can't get to a full charge, so like he would be cast aside by other people. But Clone Force 99 are the kind of people who know that being different it makes you valuable, right? That what makes you different can give you strength, and even if it is just like that's a weakness, I got to try a little harder. That doesn't make you without value. It's such that's his magic, right? He's disrespected by a lot of the galaxy, but loved by Omega and loved by us, the audience, because he's such an underdog.
Yeah, it just fits right in and really adds a lot of heart to that show. That's one of the things I just love about Bad Batch. Going back to advertising that show, it's just full of heart.
It really is.
Good old-fashioned heart.
Yeah, absolutely. And on that great note, we are going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in Gonk minutes to keep talking about Gonky. All right, we are back to continue celebrating Gonky. So a couple other questions for you, Ken. We have seen Gonky used for his actual purpose as a battery, as a charger. We've seen him, of course, as a weight to be lifted and caught. How else would you like to see Gonky used in the show?
Storage, not like you're cracking them open like a tote, but like I have a habit of this. I'm even looking here in my room. Like I have one of those like footrest / storage compartment things, right? So I have a bunch of compact discs in there because I just don't know what to do with those and I don't want to get rid of them. So I have that. So you have CDs, and then I could put my feet on there if I'm gaming or on my computer. But also, more often than not, that's just where I put other things on top of it. So I want to see it acknowledge, and maybe Gonky's kind of not throws a fit, but stands up for himself. Be like, I'm not just a storage tray, but that's how I would use Gonky. So that's how maybe I would like to see it more in the show.
Yeah. There is. There's a lot of images when you just go Gonky Star Wars images, Google search. Almost all of them. I thought, like, does he have a hat I forgot about? No, it's just a toolbox that's placed on his head. But yeah, I mean, definitely in our home, there is the curse of the open flat space. Like something will be put on it, right? So it'd be great in the show to see Gonky get tired of this and like have a scene where like, Echo's going to put down his calf and Gonky just takes a little step. Whoop, calf crashes the floor and Gonky's like, no more. I'm not a table.
Yeah, you're right about it. Yeah, it does happen enough. So yeah, maybe just inadvertently we put together episode 7 of next season. Gonky stands up.
Yeah. I'd also like to see my favorite clone tech rewire Gonky so anybody who touches him gets a massive shock.
Ooh, like he can activate battery repulse or something weird. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, like the energy coursing through him can be shot out basically even through his casing.
Yeah,
tech seems to do that a lot of like make kind of weaponry or defense out of what's available. So like if they're trying to keep the ship safe.
Yeah.
Some pirates board, Hondo boards, and gets a big shock from Gonky.
And there's got to see. I've been playing Battlefront 2 a little bit more on my PS5 now, and for some reason I got stuck on quoting that Nemodian in Phantom Menace. It's like, or is the prequels just all batteries fire, magnetize. So I would want to have someone yell that before Gonky goes into action, all batteries magnetize. And that's when he starts hurting.
All batteries electrify. I'd also be happy to see a Gonky lead a conga line and really make the most of those legs.
Ooh, that'd be, because yeah. At that bar, there's some parties.
Oh, yeah. This has already happened. We just haven't seen it, right?
Yes, exactly.
Do you consider Gonky to be a full-fledged member of Clone Force 99? Do you think he is? Do you think the rest of the unit thinks he's a member?
I absolutely think he is a member. I consider him a member. He maybe not didn't start out the show like that in my heart, but I think the way they just kind of weaved him in perfectly, and that connective thread, that defective theme, whatever you might want to call it, that leads to the true identity and purpose and worth of all these characters. Man, Gonky is definitely part of that. And he's a droid, right? So I would not want to look at him less than I do BB-8, R2, C-3PO, Treadwell. They're all there. They're all there for purpose. So he's part of the team.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. I think it's totally in the spirit of the group, of the show, to embrace, family, found family. What's our connection? Yeah. We're all in this together. So I think that would make sense. I can also imagine an actual scene where Omega forces the issue, right? Like if Wrecker says, he's not a member, that Omega would make the rest of the unit vote.
I like that.
And I think if they were all cornered, right, they would probably go along with Omega.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Omega's, I don't say the leader of the team yet, but she's the soul. She's driving the ship, so to speak.
Yeah, I think Hunter's still, making the plans, calling the shots, but yeah, totally. She is the heart and soul.
Yeah, totally.
So we talked about how we would specifically like Gonky to be used. Yeah. But what are your actual hopes for Gonky in season 2 of Bad Batch? Do you hope for him to continue to be this sort of a fun background character, or do you want more from Gonky? What are your Gonky dreams in season 2?
I have big Gonky dreams. I want a little bit of... He's nicer than Chopper, to be clear, but you and I both have a interesting relationship with Chopper, right? Maybe not loving him a lot at first for in-story reasons, out-of-the-story reasons, and all of a sudden kind of realizing, no, he's a cranky cuss, and we get it. And that episode of Chopper getting his leg back is just one of my favorite episodes of Rebels. So something like that with Gonky, where it's a little bit different point of view. Like I said, I don't consider him a grump. But where he's just left alone again, something big has to happen. I don't know. Maybe he is cast aside. Maybe it's a little bit of depressed Gonky because Wrecker says something stupid. He's not part of the team. And so Gonky leaves and lets them learn the lesson without him. But he goes on his own adventure and he comes back and they're like, you are part of the team. And they hold him up and like Boss Nass holding a peace orb and everyone's happy.
Oh, I love this. I do like that there are different episodes of Bad Batch. I do like that they're more character-based ones. So I would love it if they were on a mission, and their mission was basically just like deliver this information, and they're going to be spotted, right? Ooh. So they send Gonky to just deliver some info, and the whole episode could just be Gonky's day out, right? Of Gonky running into trouble, accidentally walking into construction sites.
Yeah. Ooh, that's great. I love that idea.
My other idea for a deeply meaningful moment, we have seen in trailers for Bad Batch Season 2 that Commander Cody is going to reappear. I think we don't necessarily know, to my knowledge, if Cody is still under the influence of his chip, if he still is kind of following the ethos of Order 66. What if Gonky kicks Cody in the head so hard it frees him from Order 66?
I love this idea. Maybe Wrecker throws Gonky at him too. There's a lot of options here. I love this.
I think that's the most likely prediction, that Wrecker will swing Gonky at someone, perhaps. Commander Cody.
Oh, like he's competing in some sort of Olympic event there, just the Gonk Droid event. Also, on your Gonky kind of infiltrating things, can we have this cut as a preview, as a fan trailer, but use the VO from Andor of Andor saying, you just walk right in to the Empire.
They never expected someone like me to walk right in, Gonk. We always like to make it personal. You already alluded to this a little bit. How would you use Gonky if you own Gonky?
Well, yeah, the storage thing is too realistic. I want Gonky to have a higher purpose than that. I do, I live in an older house built in 1920, and the wiring has been updated occasionally and allegedly. So we have some power issues in the house every now and then. So I would just love Gonky to be hanging out with me and Grace and the Chihuahuas, but always ready to provide power, almost like a power conditioner or a device you could buy, a little and a little backup power generator, and just kind of be there on call. But I'd take him with me in my car because I have a 20-year-old car that occasionally has power issues. So I definitely just want Gonky's his true abilities to shine, his true purpose to be felt in our house. And I think we could use him.
I think that's great. I would absolutely use Gonky at conventions. My phones always end up with battery problems, so then I have to have like a little portable charger with me, and then I got a cord coming out of my bag. And blah, blah, blah. If I just had Gonky there, walking right behind me at conventions, oh man, that would be great. Keep everything charged. And you cracked this obvious truth. If Gonky was at home with me, action figures a mountain of action figures would be piled on Gonky's head, because that's what happens to most surfaces in my home.
And he would treat them very carefully. Not one would fall.
No, he'd be very gentle. It can be argued, I think, that part of Gonky's charm is that we all feel defective at times. What is your version of not being able to hold a full charge? How do you relate to Gonky?
Just last night, got out, worked out in my garage gym. It's still like 100 degrees, and get back in. I still had a bunch of stuff to do, including a script for a Force Center ad spot. And I just was like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I've lost all energy. I've lost all power, and just showered, dressed back up in my pajamas, my PJs, my sweatpants, and just sat on the couch, just staring at the wall. That's how I imagine Gonky feels.
That is very relatable. I have got into a little bit of a role here where I'm kind of having a hard time sleeping. It's like no matter how tired I am, I just get a little bit restless, and I'm waking up a lot in the night, so I kind of can't get my sleep schedule right.
Yeah.
So when my wife Sarah comes home and says, "How's your day?" I keep saying, "Lunch is a trap." If I sit down at the couch and eat lunch, I lose all energy, and I cannot get back to full charge. And I'm always like, I had such a productive morning, and lunch got me.
It's so true. See, and Gonky could help with that, because there's that thing, like after you and I had done recording today, what's most likely going to happen is I'm going to fire up some enchiladas in the microwave and go, I'll just play one game of baseball. And if I'm not careful, that's the rest of my day. Gonky will be there to zap me with that reverse power device skill we're going to give him.
That's right. I gotta eat lunch standing up. Or it's over for this defective unit.
That's great.
All right, we're gonna move on to our final rating. We always like to rate the wild and weird factor of the databank entries we're talking about. So our rating is based on one of the original Star Wars weirdos, Lobot. So out of 10 Lobot heads, 1 being the least, 10 being the most, how many Lobot heads do you give Gonky?
It's so, I think the Gonk droid, just in theory, is weird, right? It's a walking battery. And I think we can look at that and be it's so been part of our lives for so long, different generations of Star Wars fans, of course, but for us, it's been 40 plus years of Gonk. So I think it's easy to overlook. So I'm still going to say it's a 7. Like, it's still pretty weird that it's a battery that you form a relationship with.
Yeah, I really wrestled with this one, and I think maybe this is the first time. I don't know. I don't remember. I'm going full 10 out of 10.
Nice.
The only thing that makes the Gonk droid not bonkers is the fact that we've gotten used to it. And this isn't just Gonk droids. This is a Gonk droid named Gonky.
Yeah.
Who's trying so hard, but sometimes when they're told to hide, just power down. Like, it's just so funny to me. Hide. Oh, he just went to sleep in the middle of everything. Okay. But we just look, it's a battery with legs.
Yeah.
And the legs aren't even that effective because Gonky can't move that fast. It's not like keep up with me on a run. We are running through a dangerous territory. Like, no, he shuffles. 10 out of 10. Weirdo. Love him.
I support this fully.
Okay. I'm a little out of control there. Ken, do you want to let people know where they can find all your stuff?
Yes, I can. I love doing this show. It takes us into wonderful weird places, just like Gonky himself. So if you want more, you can find all of the links to Force Center on Twitter at Force Center Pod. There's a link tree, our Patreon page, all the stuff kind of links on out. You can follow us all the other spots as well. You can follow me at Napzok or go to my website, catnapzok.com for more thoughts on Gonky. What about you, sir?
Yeah, you can find me on all the social media. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok is at Joseph Scrimshaw, where the Gonky feelings will continue to flow. But for now, that's it. This has been Databank Dive.